Welcome back to Status Detail, and today we are doing the Gyeon Mohs Evo 8-month update. It's been a while since we talked about this car, and been a while since we did an update on the ceramic coating. The car is very dirty. I literally have not washed it since my last video. I think that's been almost 4 months, so maybe 3. It's been almost 3 months since I've washed the car. And honestly, in that 8 months, I think I've only maybe washed the car 5 times max. I'm thinking it's been about 4 times. It's only ever been parked outside the entire time of this test. It's been parked mostly under a tree. Birds have been pooping on it. I drove it in the winter time. If you missed the beginning of the updates, it saw salt in Chicago winters. I've treated this about as bad as you can possibly treat a ceramic coated car. I do proper washes for the most part. I did do one wash with Dawn dish soap for a different video. But for the most part, I wash pretty well, but I don't wash perfectly because we're emulating what most people will wash the car like. So here's the update. First, we're starting off with the hood here. And as you guys saw, I pressure washed the hood, and it beaded water pretty good for a really dirty car that hasn't been washed in a while. I'm foaming the car down. We have kind of a concoction of soap in here that's some leftover like all-purpose Meguiar's soap that I've been using out of a gallon jug. I put some Gyeon Bathe in, and I also put some Gyeon Foam in. Gyeon Foam is great for heavy lifting, like when you don't wash your car for several months, for example. So that's kind of what's in the foam cannon. And you can see, as I'm wiping, you can see how like the ceramic and the hood and the paint, it's like kind of pushing the soap out of the way. It's kind of almost like exfoliating the water and the soap out of the way, and you see those little pockets of clean paint open up. That's awesome to see. That means the ceramic is pretty healthy underneath there. And as you can see, once we rinse all this soap away, it's looking pretty good, guys. As far as ceramic coatings go that are 8 months old, that are outside all the time, seeing salt, seeing pollen season, being parked under trees, all that stuff kind of bakes in the car when it rains and it sits. That is really, really good. Like, that is really awesome water beading, especially if you look towards kind of like the edge, like the bottom part of the pressure washer, how the water beading is really, really tight, man. Consider me impressed. 8 months in, we're looking really, really good. Now, it's also important to note, guys, I haven't really done any maintenance. I've only done car washes this whole time. So I think maybe one time I maybe shot like Gyeon Cure or maybe Ceramic Detailer, went back over the car. But I really haven't, like, normally I would, like, every wash on my personal cars, I'll use wet coat or I'll use cure or I'll use something like that to kind of keep everything on the up and up and make sure everything's really clean and nice. But for the purposes of this ceramic coating test, I really haven't put anything back over the car because we want to test what the ceramic is doing. So if I add the toppers on top, we start to kind of dilute and alter the results of what the ceramic is really doing. So like I said, I might have added cure on one time. If we go back and look at the videos, we can probably see that. But the reality is, that's basically just pure ceramic, 8 months old with no toppers, just washing with soap. Again, like I just said, guys, super impressive. Now, this is the side of the car, and you can see, look how good, this is a dirty car. This is just, I haven't washed it yet, and it's beading water really, really good. There's no flat spots. Usually you get that flat spot behind the tire where it says V6T, like below that would normally be really dirty and kind of clog the coating. This wasn't even clogged. I'm genuinely impressed by how good that is. And then once again, we're going to throw some soap and water on here. We're going to scrub it. You can see again that kind of by the bill of my hat. See how it's like exfoliating, like how it's like pushing the soap and the water out of the way? That means the ceramic is really healthy underneath. And whenever you see that, you know it's going to rinse away really, really well. And, it's beating better than it was before I washed it with soap and water. But now we're back to literally like brand new. Like I just coated it like 2 days ago. So, yeah. We're holding up pretty good on the side of the car. Different parts of the car can always hold up different because there's more contamination on the back of the car, for example, or the roof than there would be on the rear passenger door, for example. Usually those doors stay cleaner just because of the way dirt kind of creeps up on the car when you're driving it. So speaking of that, here's the back of the car. Now you're going to see on the top part of the car, look how flat it is, right? We have that flat water where there's no beading really. It's really slow to kind of sheet it away. Also look at the behind where I'm pointing. Behind the wheel, really, really flat water. Now, a lot of people look at this kind of stuff and go, ah, this coating's crap, it's starting to fail. Look at that, it's not even beading anymore. Guys, it's okay for a ceramic coating to look like this before you put soap and water on it or degreaser, or maybe you need to use Iron X or something on it. It's okay to look like that, but it's important to note it. So obviously it's not going to self-clean or behave as good as it was previously when it's beading really well. Same thing on the back bumper. So much dirt and contamination gets kind of trapped in that wind tunnel behind the car, and that really gets bad, especially in the wintertime, because you get a lot of salt dust that builds up back there, and that stuff wants to be corrosive, and it gets into the ceramic coating and it can really hurt it. So now, again, we're adding that soap and water, and you'll see I go over a couple spots twice off camera. I actually wash the trunk lid and some of the stuff on the back of the car 2 or 3 times. I actually like rinse it, foam it again, and then wash it again. Then I'll rinse out my wash pad there, and then I'll go back in with more water on it to kind of dilute the soap out and like kind of really rinse all the soap away. And it's going to give the results that we kind of expect that we'll see in a second. Now, speaking of wash pads, I'm using a microfiber towel instead of my typical wash pad. And I've kind of been testing this out, and I'm going to do a video on that, so I'm not going to say too much about it right now. But in the future, we will talk about using microfiber towels instead of wash pads. It's a pretty interesting idea. In the purposes of declogging ceramic coating cars, I sometimes feel like the ceramic, the towel actually does a better job of cleaning out the dirt, because it's more. It's a complicated topic to get into, so I'm going to save it for another video. So that's all I'm going to say for now. But sometimes I feel like towels actually do a better job than wash pads. Anyways, check out that. We cleaned that, the microfiber towel plus the soap and the water and everything, totally degunked that, and you can see on the top and the bottom of the car, we are 100% back to perfect water beading. So don't freak out when you're rinsing your car and it's ceramic coated and you're like, oh my God, the ceramic's gone. It can sometimes just be really clogged and filled up with dirt and contamination, and once you rinse it away, you're good to go again. Now, here's a great example of that. On the left-hand side of that seam is the fender I just cleaned. Look how tight the water beading is. On the hood, or this is the trunk rather, look how flat it is and how weird and kind of grimy it looks. That is a clogged coating, okay? This is a coating that hasn't been washed in 3 or 4 months. It's been sitting under a tree. It's got tree gunk on it, plus the water, and the birds have pooped on my trunk, and that's what you're seeing, right? This is an area I washed twice. So I'm doing the first wash right now. I'm actually going to rinse this in a second, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to do the whole thing a second time. And you can see right now it's starting to do that exfoliation thing where it's kind of opening up the little pockets of clean paint. That's a really good start. That means that we're getting closer to being back to normal water beading, whereas when we started, you could see how really bad and clogged it was. And now the left side of that seam and the right side of the seam match. Like the water beading is back, it's perfect. That just goes to show you, once again, don't freak out when your coating's not behaving right. Sometimes you just need to go in there and really wash it. Maybe you need to wash it 2 or 3 times, because sometimes that stuff can really get in there really bad and clog your coating up and make your car look like it's not waxed anymore or not ceramic coated. I am genuinely impressed. I think this is a super good coating. I think it's highly durable. If there's one thing I'm going to say about it, it's highly durable, because I have not treated this coating well. My opinion is very simple, guys. I think it's an incredible product. I think it's very, very good. I think it's very durable. My negatives will remain the same until I'm done doing this series, and that is I do not like the installation process on this product. I'm not even going to talk about it here because I've mentioned it in all my other videos and nothing's changed. I do not like the way it is installed. I like the way it behaves after it's installed. I think it has great durability. I think it's very glossy, very shiny. It has amazing water beading. All of that's great, and it's been very consistent through the entire test. That's excellent. Would I recommend you use this over CSL? I think we've gotten to the point where I would say if you understand the installation and you are willing to put up with it, then yes, you can do Mohs Evo or CSL from the car care store, statusdetailstore.com. They're both for sale there. Do whichever one you like. In my honest opinion, if you want to do a dual layer coating, which means you want to do a base coat and a top coat, I would do Crystal Serum Light and EXO. The reason for that is if you want to do Syncro, which is skin plus Mohs, you are going to end up in a predicament where you can only buy skin in a package with Mohs. So in 3 years, if you want to top your coating off, your skin bottle will go bad, and the only way to buy another bottle of that is to buy the whole package, which is like $180 of skin plus Mohs Evo. Versus if you do, CSL and EXO, you can buy a 30 milliliter bottle for like $60 or so or $70 or so of EXO and put that back on your car. So you're like, Gyeon made a mistake by not making Syncro 2 products. They made it 1 product, 2 products in 1 box. You cannot buy skin separate. You have to buy Syncro, and that like paywalls you into a $180 thing, and I think that's ridiculous. That's a total misstep, especially considering CarPro also offers toppers as a separate thing, and CarPro apparently is one of their biggest competitors, so I don't know what happened there. Anyways, that's going to wrap up this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. So many more videos coming. If you were paying close attention in the background of the ending here, you noticed that all my drywall is ripped out currently, and that's because Status HQ version 2 is coming soon, and I'll do a video on that, so stay tuned for kind of a renovation video on what I'm doing with the shop and changing stuff and updating stuff, and I think a lot of you guys will really enjoy that. So stay tuned to the channel, and we drop videos every Sunday if you're new here. See ya in the next video, guys.